And but yeah, no, there we go. We have Cyrus Davis playing Lost Box against Aaron Hunt playing Lost Zone Giratina. Again, two very similar decks. The only difference is that big, giant, evil dragon. Giratina V-Star. I'm not quite sure how much it's going to matter in this matchup. It's great to have. Again, it's the Giratina V has a shred attack that's 160, and it has no weakness. It's kind of tough to knock out, especially when you're not playing something like Dragonite. It's a little spoiler warning. Cyrus Davis is not playing something like that. And then Giratina V-Star, 280 HP. If that can take a couple of hits, I think that's the way to beat Lost Zone Box. But it's a matter of who gets more cards into the Lost Zone first.
Yep, absolutely. That is going to be huge for both of these players. But yeah, Cyrus's Lost Zone deck, it's not going to be that turbo Lost Box that we're so used to seeing. It's going to be a heavy Sableye and Radiant Charizard version. So we're going to see a lot of one-prizers out on the fields in this matchup. I'm excited. And then, of course, as we've been talking about, this Giratina V-Star Lost Box deck, this is the #1 deck to beat. So is Cyrus going to be able to take down this deck? We will have to see. Let's check out our prize cards from both of our players.
Yeah, looking at the prizes right now, nothing too notable. There's a couple of supporters, right? Colress Experiment on Cyrus's size, Roxanne, and the Path to the Peak on Aaron Hunt. Roxanne is something I'd like to eventually grab, but luckily it's right there in the middle of the prize cards. Path to the Peak could be big as well. Again, sometimes disruption is the name of the game. Path to the Peak here can stop Radiant Charizard later down the line.
Yes.
So that could be big. Something of note as well, Aaron Hunt is actually playing the waterless Giratina V-Star, so that means there is no...
Hydrated.
Dehydrated.
Oh yes,
Giratina
dehydrated, yes.
And the dehydrated Giratina V-Star, that means there's no option to Moonlight Shuriken, right? So I wonder if that's going to come into play. It is the more consistent version as we go ahead and start here.
Yep, I'm excited. We're going to get into our Swiss round 5 here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, starting over on Aaron Hunt's side. Battle VIP Pass, always a card you want to see starting off here. Aaron's really going to get a chance to establish Pokemon onto the board here with those Battle VIP Pass. Of course, also getting a chance to look through the deck as well, see what's in those prize cards. Huge for mapping out, especially counting up your energies and all that. But of course, 2 Comfey are going to come out instantly off that Battle VIP Pass. And
yes.
We're going to see a lot of flower selecting, hopefully, in this turn here.
100%. Again, opening up a Battle VIP Pass, you know you're going to have a good time. I like the grab there of getting 2 Comfey. Sometimes when I play any type of Lost Zone box deck and I'm going first, the ideal count is getting, if you get 3 cards into the Lost Zone, I feel like you're in a pretty good position. That's why we see 3 Comfeys here. I'm curious if Aaron's going to opt to set up those set up those Giratinas.
Yes.
Oh, there it is, a second Battle VIP Pass.
Oh,
if you're having a good time with 1, you're having a blast with a second. Let's see here.
Yeah, pick and choose what you want here, for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious what else they're going to set up. We do see the Giratina being pushed up to the front. Is that a Manaphy that they're opting to place? Yeah, looks like it is a Manaphy. Again, Aaron Hunt doesn't know quite yet that Cyrus isn't playing the Radiant Greninja.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, really the only knowledge here is,
true.
just Manaphy out there. You think Cyrus Davis and there's a Manaphy. Not really sure what's going on there first. But yeah, Aaron Hunt also just thinning out these Pokemon from the deck in general here. So lots of Pokemon coming out off of both those Battle VIP Pass and of course, the Nest Ball on top of that.
All the basic Pokemon. Next question is, how many Switch cards does Aaron have in the hand? We know for sure there's at least 1 flower selecting, so that at least they got the ideal start. I see a Jet Energy in hand as well. Absolutely love that card in this deck. Just helps out so much, being able to attach an energy to the Comfey, brings it to the active, and you also have an energy to retreat now.
Yeah. It gives you that pivot as well as another flower selecting, and the retreat's always nice to have here. And we're going to see those cards start stacking up into the Lost Zone on Aaron's side. That's what we were kind of talking about. It's going to be a race to the Lost Zone, and Aaron has fully loaded up the bench here. Like completely full, 5 Pokemon down. And we're starting off our flower selecting already 2 cards in the Lost Zone here. It was a Switch and I believe a Pokegear was the other one.
Wow, actually, looking at Aaron's list, we were talking about how dehydrated the deck is. It's so dehydrated that it doesn't even have Radiant Greninja, which is very surprising. It's even if you can't attack with it, some players, again, it's a way to be able to discard an energy draw too. But if you're not playing it, you don't need a bench space for it, right?
That's true. I mean, yeah, there's no bench spaces out there right now, at least either. Yeah, I cleared bench space to have all of your other Pokemon down there. We got 3 cards go into the Lost Zone there, and that Path to the Peak is in play. It's just in between the players here. Definitely the first time I've seen a stadium go there. I like it. Yeah. All right, we're over onto Cyrus's side now. Again, the only information now revealed is what's in the discard pile and that Manaphy that started in the active position. Where we got the Pokestop that just bumped the Path to the Peak, so new stadium in play. It's already been used, and all 3 of those cards. I believe one was the Nest Ball that went to the hand, but now back to the discard pile to get a basic Pokemon out. And Cyrus, pro player over here, keeping track of what is in the prize cards and writing it down to make sure that you know what's going on there in your deck.
Yeah, I just have to admire how fast Cyrus is really going through their deck here and how much information they can get at this speed. And again, this is a very important skill, especially in Lost Box, because we talked about this at the opening. It's a deck that takes quite a bit. You know, it takes quite a bit of time to play, so you really need these expert hands to really play the deck. And looking at the deck here, looks like, yeah, this. I didn't quite see. Did they have a Chorus in hand at the very least? Again, they didn't quite get the most ideal start with that Manaphy, but hey, at least by starting the Manaphy, they didn't give any information.
I did see the starting hand here. I've just been looking at what's in the deck. I mean, there's only 1 Chorus in the prize cards for Cyrus, but gonna start getting out those Comfey. That's the Comfey being searched out with a Nest Ball here. So let's get a look at this hand once Cyrus lifts it up here and see what's going on.
Yeah, now Aaron at least knows what the deck they're playing against. It's not Urshifu because there's a Comfey, unless there's a Rapid Strike, Lost Box Urshifu deck somewhere.
Brand new deck coming out of the woodwork here. No, yeah, it's going to be just a bunch of single prizes here for Cyrus. So Comfey coming out. And we have an escape rope as well, so we are going to see that flower selecting. Of course, Aaron has to choose what Pokemon also goes into the active because it switches both players' Pokemon here, but that flower selecting is going to start stacking up some cards into the Lost Zone on Cyrus's side of the field now. And we're seeing where we're going from here.
Ooh, grabs the Pidgeot V. I know we've been talking about Pidgeot EX to be a
different
popular card,
one.
but this is a very, very good card to have in the Lost Zone deck, since you can play it in combination with the Forest Seal Stone, and once you're done using the Forest Seal Stone, you put it back into the deck.
Yeah,
no more threats.
No more 2 prize card liability on your field. That Forest Seal Stone is being used, activating that V-Star power, the Star Alchemy, allowing Cyrus to set up any beginning hand here with 1 of any card from the deck. And that Chorus's Experiment, I have no doubt, is what was either searched out or it was already in the hand here for Cyrus. But that is a very important card to get out, stack up your hand, and get cards into the Lost Zone. So Forest Seal Stone being played. No liability from that Pidgeot V. Fantastic card here. And it's just going to be 1 prizers from there on out.
100%. I believe Cyrus here is going to be looking for at least a Cramorant. Now, take a prize, right? If we're just going to be trading 1 prizers, that is going to be very, very important for sure. They only play 1 Cramorant. It looks like they're dropping the Sableye and the Cramorant right now here. Just getting the Sableye early, not too bad. Believe right now they have 3 cards in the Lost Zone thanks to that Chorus and 1 flower selecting. So they're still going to need at least two ways to switch, either an energy attachment or a switching card. But I believe that was Escape Rope play. Aaron, again, very easy choice, going from 1 Comfey to another. Cyrus does the same, and just like that, flower selecting, a little bit of a tough choice here, a Fire Energy or the Sableye.
Ooh.
Again, Cyrus
three
does play.
Sableye in the list.
Yeah, so should be good. But it looks like they opt to send the Fire Energy to the Lost Zone. I mean, that means there's only 1 left in the deck.
Yep. Yeah, once your cards are in the lost zone, they're never to be retrieved, at least in that match, of course. They're gone forever. It is not like the discard pile. So that Fire Energy, that Fog Crystal, and the other 2 cards in there are gone. We did get that Cramorant, though, of course. Lost zone ticked up to 4, which unlocks that Cramorant's ability, and that Spit innocently for Cyrus Davis, taking the first prize card there off of one of those Comfey. And now we're over onto Aaron's side here, stacking up cards into the Lost Zone with a Chorus's Experiment of his own. We have 5 cards now.
Yep.
Let's see where Aaron gets to go with his turn.
Yep, so 5 cards in the Lost Zone means Aaron can use a Cramorant themselves, but again, they have to find it first. But another way to really take this knockout is potentially get to 7, then start powering up a Giratina V and just going for a shred. But let's see what they can set up. There was a couple of flower selecting thanks to that Jet Energy. I believe the count should be 7 now, so Mirage Gate should be active. Looking at their hand, though, they do have a Cramorant, so they will be able to trade here. And yeah, again, it's just going to be Spit innocently after Spit innocently. 1 prize after 1 prize. That's typically how it goes in these Lost Zone mirror kind of. Once we get later into the match, when we really start to depend on the Lost Mine on the Sableye.
Yeah, that's where things get spicy, Wancho. But yeah, we're just going to see the Cram knock on the Cram. Cram on Cram violence here on the stream. It hits for 110, but it has 110 HP as well. So that's going to go down. Aaron is going to match the prize card race now here against Cyrus. Now we're over on to Cyrus's side of the field, and things are going quick here. Cards are flying into the Lost Zone. We've already seen that one of our flower selectings and that Chorus's Experiment as well. So Lost Zone has now ticked up to 7 for Cyrus Davis.
Yeah, Cyrus here. What they're probably looking for is a Lost Vacuum. By being able to use the Lost Vacuum, that should bring them up to 9, and then they're 1 flower selecting away to just start Lost Mining. And if you can Lost Mine first, you're having a good time for sure, especially when maybe you can bench lock your opponent. Right now, Aaron doesn't have space for a Sableye of their own. You see here an Escape Rope, 1 more flower selecting. Is that a dark Pokemon? Oh, Drapion.
You're like, wait, what? Yeah, it's going to be that switch that goes into the Lost Zone here, though, off of that second flower selecting. Cyrus has a pretty big hand here now. Going to go back into the deck with a level ball for a Pokemon that is 90 HP or less. And guess what? Hawlucha here is 70 HP. So Hawlucha coming out. I feel like I haven't seen Hawlucha in a hot minute. So it's cool to see this card being played in Cyrus Davis's deck. That flying entry, once the Hawlucha is placed down, you get to identify 2 Pokemon on your opponent's side and then put 10 damage counters on both of those Pokemon. So stacking up those damage counters and then going in with that Sableye and stacking even more, taking even more knockouts here, which is going to be huge for Cyrus to wrap up this game.
Yes, flying entry, very powerful ability, especially where every damage counter matters, and
every damage counter counts. Let's go. That's true.
By putting 10 on the Manaphy, 10 on the Comfey, Cyrus is setting themselves up pretty nicely for a 2-prize turn potentially. Did see the Lost Vacuum there. I believe that was played. Let's see what they sent to the Lost Zone. Also curious if they opt to get rid of the Pokestop or the Forest Seal Stone as well.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So it's going to be that Lost Vacuum. You discard 1 of your cards into the Lost Zone, and then you get to discard a Stadium or a Tool card. Going to be that Forest Seal Stone to put into the Lost Zone, and that's really the whole goal here, to get your Lost Zone to 10, which guess what, Wancho? We're there. Pidgeot V hopping back into the deck as well, wiping that liability off the board here. Sableye is now in the active position with that Psychic Energy attached to unlock the Lost Mine that we've been talking about for, I feel like, ages now. But it allows you to put 12 damage counters on your opponent's field, and that is going to take a double knock here for Cyrus.
Yeah, I believe this is Cyrus's just 2nd turn, right? 2nd turn, Lost Mine. Very, very
No way, are you serious?
I believe so.
What?
She went, they went 2nd, attack with the Cramorant, and then now attacks with the Sableye.
Wow, that is bananas. I mean, I guess that's how this deck is built to function here. I told you, Cyrus, master of deck building here, bringing only the cool things to the table. But yeah, wow, Sableye already going off here, turn 2, 10 in the lost zone, and Aaron has to kind of respond here, already super on the back foot. Cyrus only has 3 prize cards left to take, and only 1 prize Pokemon out on the field versus Aaron has a lot more than that to lose.
I mean, the scary thing is, too, for Aaron, again, they're playing the dehydrated Giratina. That means there's no Moonlight Shuriken option. There's no way for them to take multiple prizes besides really setting up a Sableye themselves, but they don't have the luxury of Hawlucha. So they're
and there's a Manaphy in play too, so that's even like you still have to get through that, you know. Very much on the back foot, but Aaron does have 10 cards now in the lost zone, which means it's gonna be now Sableye on Sableye violence, I suppose, on this stream. They don't like each other very much, but Aaron is gonna have 12 damage counters to place of his own onto Cyrus Davis's field, and now it's just a race of who can get there first to win this game, spreading out those damage counters all across the board here, of course taking a knockout as well on that Sableye, going down another prize card on Aaron's side.
Yeah, the important thing here is Aaron has to draw into that Roxanne. I think that's the only way out for them is if I can't take multiple prizes, then I have to disrupt my opponent so they just stop taking prizes in general, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the trouble with the Lost Box decks because you're really setting up your attacker per turn. If you can get that, Sableye or energy out of the hand, that would be ideal. As Clara is played now, and just like that, just setting up 2 attacks. If they drop the Sableye with the energy and the Cram, that's 2 attackers.
Yeah, Clara's so nice. Those cards go right out of your discard pile back into your hand here.
Looks
so
like Cyrus there opting to grab the Sableye and 2 energies instead there.
Yeah, the Cram staying in the discard pile is going to be the Sableye, and those 2 basic energies brought back into the hand from the Clara. So that's what we're working with here. Sableye's coming back down, and that's the real threat of this deck. You can just get multiple Sableye down now here for Cyrus, and it is just looking too easy. Turn after turn, 12 more damage counters, 12 more damage counters spread out, and those really stack up, and that is rough.
I don't know about you, Boo, but I'm losing my mind. And but yeah, there's 2 Sableyes now on the bench. That means all Cyrus needs is to find a Psychic Energy in the following turn. And I believe they could just set up the game with those 2 Sableyes. Trying to do my math here, I'm pretty sure. But let's see what Cyrus opts to do. The sad thing is we haven't seen Aaron use the Giratinas at all in this matchup. This has basically been a Lost Box mirror, which is a little bit unfortunate. I think you really do have to depend on those Giratinas to really soaking up some early hits to really swing this match.
They're bulky. They're bulky.
Yep. They're big dragon Pokemon.
All right, we're seeing those damage counters spread out onto Aaron's side of the field. And I think throughout this whole game, Cyrus just had the upper hand.
Yeah.
I think Cyrus was the first to a prize card, and the consistency has just stayed there every single turn so far. And now it's kind of getting racked up here. Cyrus is only down to 2 prize cards left to take. We're over onto Aaron's side, just having to promote that Manaphy into the active position. Already has 2 damage counters on it, and things are looking scary.
Yeah, again, if Aaron can't disrupt Cyrus's hand, we know for a fact that they have the Psychic Energy in hand, thanks to that Clara, and that should be game. There's 2 damage counters on the Manaphy and the Comfey. They're going to have to find 2 switch cards here. First one being played, healing up the Manaphy, switching it to the bench, promotes the Comfey here. Is there another switch card? It's very, very important they get one. Drops a Sableye. Looking at the hand, that's a Rod. Puts back some Pokemon there. That's not a switch card. Oh, is there a switch card?
That's a pretty big hand.
Oh, there is a switch card.
Okay.
So
I was like, what?
Aaron should be able to get rid of those 2 damage counters and potentially buy themselves at least one more turn.
We're going to see that Mirage Gate come out, though. Of course, that card comes online when you hit 7 in the Lost Zone. Allows you to search your deck for 2 of different types of energies and bring them out and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. So that Grass Energy is going to be the first one. Was going to go with the Comfey attached, but it's going to be that Giratina on the bench instead. And of course, that Sableye getting that 1 Psychic needed for the Lost Mine.
Yes, let's see what else Aaron has in store. Again, they do have the switch cards. That's why they didn't need the energy on the Comfey necessarily.
Yes.
First flower selecting here. Again, they're down to 4 prizes here. Cyrus is down to 2. We know for a fact that Aaron's at least going to be able to take a prize this turn. And with the switch card, buy them at least 1 turn. Aaron needs to draw into that Roxanne. We know for a fact it's in the middle prize. It's just a matter of, is Aaron going to go left or right?
Oh, I hate when it comes down to that. I feel like it always goes the wrong way. Sableye is going to come up into the active off of that switch card you've been talking about, Wancho. So no energy needed to retreat there. Sableye is now ready to Lost Mine once again.
Yep, again, Lost Mine, very, very powerful attack. 12 damage counters wherever they want, I'm sure. Oh, they're going for the boss's orders here first. I like that. Again, if it's some way of disruption right now. Cyrus has to find themselves a way to retreat the Hawlucha as well. Very interesting that they opted not to knock out the Sableye. Oh, but
I was about to say.
Because they take 2 prizes.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to go left or right. You took both the prizes, that Path to the Peak and the Roxanne, now in the hand here for Aaron. But it's back over to Cyrus's side of things, going through that very, very thin deck with a Fog Crystal and grabbing out another basic Pokemon here. Pokestop. All right, let's see if we can get some items.
Ooh.
Just the Colress's Experiment being thrown into the discard pile here. 2 items going into the hand off of that Pokestop.
Yes, Cyrus here just thinning out the deck at this point. Grabs the Pidgeot. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see that stay on the field. That is just way too big of a liability. As switch card is played, goes into the Comfey flower selecting. Again, they're just thinning the deck. They're preparing themselves for the Roxanne. That's a Charizard. Wait, or are they going for game? No, it's game!
Oh, it's game. We forgot all about the Radiant Charizard, and that was the only fire energy left in the deck as well. And Cyrus needed to get there. That was all that was needed. The deck was so thin, and we got there. Radiant Charizard coming out, the boss's orders for the game, taking the last 2 prize cards for Cyrus Davis, starting out very strong here. And that's a Sableye Radiant Charizard deck.
I totally forget about the power of Radiant Charizard. Again, if the opponent only goes down, if they go down to 2 prizes, it's attacks for 1 energy. It's just so much value.
Yes, I know.
Aaron, I'm sure, is going to start playing around that. I think now that Aaron has information about what deck Cyrus is playing, doesn't have to worry about Radiant Ninja, has to worry about the Charizard a little bit. Maybe
I'm sure Aaron knew early on because that 1 fire energy went into the Lost Zone. That Radiant Zard was an option there. But yeah, Cyrus, I mean, it wasn't in play very long, but it did the job. Wrapped up that game here for Cyrus Davis. So we see how it happened there. Taking down, dethroning Giratina, Lost Box Giratina.
Ooh.
Yep, Wancho lost his mind there in that match, and I did too at that ending there. Very nice.
Yeah, a little bit. I was so convinced for the fact that, they're probably going to knock out the Sableye, and what prize did he take from there? Yes, I like their mindset of, let's take 2 prizes because they know for a fact the Roxanne is in the prizes, but by taking those 2 prizes, it opened up the door for the Radiant Charizard. Again, there's so many factors you have to consider in this matchup, and it takes pro players like these to really play it expertly. And again, I want to see how Aaron adjusts their game plan here. And I'm curious if they're going to opt to go first or second. Probably second, try and hit with the Cramorant first, but we'll have to see.
All right, let's check out these prize cards that have been laid out for both of our players here.
Looking at the prizing, again, what you really want to count are switch cards and choruses. And we did see 1 chorus in Cyrus' side of Cyrus prizes anyway. And Cyrus, both players open up some birds here. 1 Pidgeot, 1 Cramorant. You want the Comfey, not the
big bird and a small bird. I always just call them turkey boys. All right, so we're starting this match off here. 0-1 Cyrus's favor here in our round 5, but of course we are starting on Aaron Hunt's side of the field. You get to opt whether you go first or second if you lose in the first game, and Aaron of course is going to start off going first starting with that Cramorant and another Battle VIP pass, which is always nice to see. We saw 2 last time from Aaron Hunt, but just could not close up the game, unfortunately. Battle VIP pass and an S-ball.
Almost similar to their first turn the last game, but just lacking 1 Battle VIP pass. Can you imagine? That was almost the perfect setup.
Yes.
It was the perfect start as well, but Cyrus Davis just was in complete control anyway. Let's see what Aaron opts to fight. It's just a triple Comfey combo as per usual. Let's see if they have the Jet Energy to go with it.
Yeah, fantastic addition into this deck. That pivot in an energy, and you have the future pivot by discarding the energy. Very nice. Gotta love to see it. But yeah, I think last game, Cyrus just had the consistency. Every single turn we saw, you know, damage counters being placed, knockouts happening, and there was no breaks, honestly. It was all gas the entire game. And unfortunately, that potentially could happen again, or Cyrus could start off with a slower start this time. Pidgeot V being the Pokemon that started, it's kind of rough there, but let's see what Aaron can get into the Lost Zone here, and if we see some cards that can help out for these future hands. So far we have the Path to the Peak. Oh, and it's going to be that Roxanne that goes into the Lost Zone. Unfortunately, on the first turn, of course, that is a later game card, but now it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. They do play 2, so there is still that option.
That's good.
And I want to talk about Cyrus's deck a little bit. Just the fact that they're not playing Mirage Gates, those extra energies, it leaves option for so many of these extra consistency cards, like those level balls, something you don't typically see in Lost Box deck, and you wonder why. I mean, almost all your Pokemon have less than 90 HP. Why don't people play the level balls? It's because of space. But when you drop those Mirage Gates, drop those extra energies, you can opt to play those cards like the Howluchas, the Pidgeot instead.
I mean, it's even 4 Colress's Experiments, and you have the Pokegear on top of that as well. So yeah, 100% great point there, Wancho. Just adding to that consistency, and that's how we saw the Lost Zone up to 10 cards in the second turn. I still don't believe that, Wancho. I have to go back and watch to see if that's what actually happened, because that was wild here. But Cyrus is going to kick off this first turn here for this game. Starting that Pidgeot V, but we do have the savior here, the Battle VIP pass. So Cyrus is going to get a look here. Of course, those prize cards actually looked very similar to our prize cards in the last game. 1 Colress's Experiment in there, History and Heavy Ball, a Fog Crystal, Escape Rope. Couple of things here and there, but I mean, one of those Battle VIP passes was in the prizes, but doesn't matter. One's being played here now, which is what you want to see for sure.
100%. And again, even if they get just the Forest Seal Stone, Pidgeot's already there. Might as well make use of it, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what they can get though. Again, they're going through their deck. I believe I saw their hand a little bit. I think there's like a second Battle VIP pass at the very least, so could be out for a very explosive turn. It's just a matter of how many switch cards. But again, got to memorize what's in that deck, what tools I have to work with.
It's so funny that you're talking about how you have so much room in this deck for cards, and even just looking at the energy here, there's only 5 energy in this deck.
Yeah.
3 Psychic Energy and 2 Fire Energy. I mean, I feel like an average energy count for a deck is like, what, 12 or something? So 5 energy. I mean, the Lost Mine, it only needs 1. That Radiant Zard, you're using it late game, it potentially only needs 1, as we saw. So you have such a slim energy count here, and still that was not even an issue for Cyrus. Everything was been able to been found from the deck. And speaking of which, we have another Battle VIP pass. Even though 1 was in the prize cards, 2 Battle VIP pass coming down here for Cyrus. So lots of options of what to get out onto this bench and start stacking up that Lost Zone, as long as we have some pivots in the hand as well.
I like that Cyrus there was thinking about benching the 3rd Comfey. Maybe they're thinking about keeping a tight bench, not putting too many liabilities. But again, you really do need those Comfeys. But at the same time, right now, what is the goal, right? Your goal is to get 4 cards into the Lost Zone. You can achieve that by Colress and 2 Comfeys, or maybe even Lost Vacuum. There's so many ways to get cards into the Lost Zone. And you know, speaking of cards that need energies, Cramorant needs none. So
Yeah, exactly. I know. I didn't even point out the Cramorant. It doesn't even need an energy here as long as there's 4 cards in the Lost Zone. So that is pretty cool as well. We did see that escape rope here from Cyrus. So Aaron bringing up that Giratina V and Cyrus bringing up that Comfey. So we're starting that flower selecting here for this turn. Manaphy is going to come down here as well. Another bench spot that you might have to reserve there for the Manaphy. And it's just going to be a pass after that. Only 1 card this time in the Lost Zone.
I was talking about so many ways to get cards into the Lost Zone, but there was nothing.
No Colress. Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, Cyrus going second, you can play support a card, which is not something that the person going first gets an opportunity to do. But Cyrus just could not find that Colress's experiment, unfortunately, for that turn. That's going to allow Aaron to hopefully get a little bit of a lead here on the Lost Zone, not only already having 5 cards in the Lost Zone so far, but probably going to be stacking up a ton more in here, which is going to unlock a lot of possibilities here for Aaron and potentially turn the tables here in this game 2 between these players.
100%. Again, Jet Energy, just the perfect thing to get those Comfeys into the active, and something they need is, honestly, just another way to go back into a Cramorant. Maybe they're setting up, you're trying to get as many cards into the Lost Zone, try to get to 10 first, and right now, my count is right. Aaron's at 6, Cyrus is at 1. I think you're winning the game. Well, you're winning currently anyway.
At the moment, yeah. 7 in the Lost Zone.
Ooh.
Now here, yep, that is a little scary for sure. Yeah, last game we saw Cyrus get the jump on the prize cards, but it is looking very different here. Aaron already has that Cramorant down that can take the knockout on the Comfey being switched into. But no, there was no switch though. No way to switch out. It's just going to be a pass over to Cyrus Davis now. And we are starting out with a flower selecting. Let's see if it's going to bring the hand any help here. I think it was just a Sableye echoing horn going into the Lost Zone back over to Aaron. I think the top deck was a Colress as well.
That's pretty good. That'll bring you up to 9 cards into the Lost Zone. Plus that Comfey, hey, that's 10. Let's start Lost Mining here. You can even Lost Mine with a bench lock. Oh, it's not a bench lock. The Pidgeot can fly away.
Yes, that's true.
But
we got birds.
Just switch droughts here for both players.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Remember how last game we were talking about how Cyrus got 10 cards into the Lost Zone turn 2?
Yeah.
Now it's 2 cards into the Lost Zone turn 2. Not as good.
Look at that when the Colress is an option going into the Lost Zone here from Aaron off of the Colress. That's when you know. And there was already a Colress in hand as well for Aaron. So there's plenty of researching happening here with those Colress's experiment.
Yeah, definitely does not feel good when you only have 2 cards in the Lost Zone and your opponent sends a Colress to the Lost Zone. Can I borrow that for real quick?
Yeah, like, can I just take that one out of your Lost Zone, please? But yeah, look at this, Wancho. 10 cards here now in the Lost Zone. Didn't get the Cramorant, but I guess didn't really need it because now we're going to be going in with Sableye. And this is going to be huge for Aaron. We're going to see that energy being attached to these Pokemon from the Mirage Gate because there's enough cards, plenty cards in the Lost Zone. That's going to be the pivot attached to the Comfey and the active here, as well as that Giratina V getting the energy stacked up. And Aaron's going to start to stack up these damage counters, or should I say knockouts, really, and start taking some prize cards.
I'm very, very curious how they're going to opt to spread the damage. Maybe just take a knockout on the Cramorant. That's the only thing that's really that threatens your board.
That is very true. That's the attacker there, at least for the moment.
But I think that's a Clara. No, it's not. It was a nest ball. Never mind.
Oh, sadness.
Does find a Fog Crystal. They have a couple of ways to switch. They have a couple of ways to at least... That was really fast. Oh, because it was a chorus.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see what they find. They find themselves...
we had a nest ball and a switch card go into the Lost Zone here from Cyrus. Now we're choosing, oh wow, a Colress's experiment on Cyrus's side going into the Lost Zone, as well as one of those psychic energy. Remember, the energy is very slim in this deck. Only 3 psychic energy total. One of them is in the prize cards for Cyrus as well, and now one of them is in the Lost Zone as well.
Ooh. All right, Cyrus here going for the level ball again. Now that the Cramorant is knocked out, and they've already played their supporter for turn, I don't think they can get a Cramorant out besides possibly using Super Rod if they can draw into it, and then having to find that Cramorant again. So if they wanted to take a knockout here, it's a little bit tough. They might be trying to go for 10 cards in the Lost Zone this turn, potentially. Is that possible?
Oh. Pokestop at least going to net a single card there. The switch cards, of course, tool cards are now under their own umbrella. They don't count as item cards anymore. So it's just going to be that one card, and the Clara discarded as well off of that Pokestop.
All right,
switch card. Awkward roll.
Switch card played here is going to bring Cyrus up to 7 cards in the Lost Zone. They could potentially attach a Forest Seal Stone and go double Lost Vacuum, potentially get 10 in there, and that's definitely a way to get back into this game. But do they have it here? I see 1 Lost Vacuum. I see 2 Lost Vacuums.
Oh.
Is there another tool anywhere? No? You have to... we need targets. There's 2 Lost Vacuums in hand, but there's no tool.
Yeah.
There's no other stadium. So there's no way to get to 10 this turn. Unfortunately, you can attack with the Sableye. Yeah, you can... So right now, Cyrus is at 7. You send the Pokestop to the Lost Zone. That bring you up to 9. But then you have another Lost Vacuum, but then no other target.
There's no targets. Unfortunately, there isn't a Forest Seal Stone anyway, actually.
Yeah.
There's none even in hand.
Yeah.
So
that would have been the perfect get, but again, Pokestop can't grab that.
I mean, that was definitely probably what was being aimed to happen, but just could not get there for multiple reasons.
Was that a scratch? It was a, yeah, again, Sableye does have 2 attacks. Lost Mine, one of the most powerful attacks in the game, and Scratch for 20.
Yep, there is Scratch for 20 when you don't have 10 in the Lost Zone. Unfortunately, sometimes that's all you can do here. So Path to the Peak is going to come into play now from Aaron's side of the field, which we're on here, bumping that Pokestop. And let's see what Aaron can do here. I mean, yeah, Cyrus just can't seem to get off the ground in this game.
I mean, getting to 7 cards into the Lost Zone was still pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
For their very, very poor start. I think that's the 2nd Roxanne now in the
Both
Lost Zone.
Both are gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you're winning, you probably don't need to disrupt.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if it's opting for a better card that's going to help you so far, I guess that Roxanne's going to have to be the choice here from Aaron. But now both Roxannes are out of the equation here. We're going to see a Colress's Experiment, though, from Aaron. So we're going to have 3 cards go to the hand, 2 more into the Lost Zone. Of course, we have plenty of cards in the Lost Zone, so at this point, Aaron is just working through the deck and trying to get those pieces needed to just line up the rest of these turns and wrap this game up, hopefully. We still have just under 15 minutes for both of these players. Things could get sticky if we end up in a tie here, at least in this match, if Aaron can take things home.
That is true. Aaron there trying to attach that energy to the Giratina.
Already attached the jet,
So no extra attachment there. They're going to have to play a Mirage Gate if they want to attack with that Giratina. But they have the Sableye ready to go. But we don't have to attack with the Tina. Let's see what they're going to do. Just take a knockout on the Sableye. Set up more damage on the board. Why not?
There we go, stacking up those damage counters on the Manaphy on the bench. Sableye's gone now, so that's going to be another prize card here for Aaron Hunt. And we're over to Cyrus's side of the field, and things are looking scary here. Aaron already down 2 prize cards, plenty of cards. I mean, look at the hand size for Aaron. Like, there's options there. So many options here, but let's see what Cyrus is able to do. Of course, the more prize cards Aaron takes, the more or the closer Radiant Charizard gets to us. But and we have both Fire Energy in the deck this time around, right, Wancho?
That is true, but something of note, all it takes is Aaron to really evolve the Giratina on the bench, Giratina V-Star. Yes, the Scratch did 20 damage, but once you evolve to V-Star, it leaves you with 260. You're lacking 10 there. I don't think Cyrus plays anything like a Choice Belt potentially.
That's true.
And
Path to the Peaks in play as well.
Yeah.
So you have to bump.
100%. So this turn, it has to be a Sableye. Set up a couple of things for sure. Sends the Raihan and a Drapion to the Lost Zone there. Again, just the hands are absolutely enormous. This is what happens when neither player plays Iono. Neither player plays Judge.
That is very true, and things are flying here in this stadium for Cyrus Davis. We're just churning it through this deck now. We saw that Colress's Experiment. We saw several cards being played, and now we're seeing that Forest Seal Stone finally found out of the deck here for Cyrus Davis.
What could Cyrus need at this point? I think it's a matter of use it or lose it, probably. You know, might as well use the Forest Seal Stone. get Lost Vacuum it as well, just thin out the hand potentially, because again, their hands are absolutely huge. I don't think they're going to need anything else.
Yeah.
Pokestop being played here. Hey, 3 items. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, most of this deck is a lot of items. So Pokestop is definitely a nice card to slot into this deck here. 3 items being drawn off of that nice little roll there. And we're going to see that Lost Vacuum, something we would have loved to have seen earlier, but now it's going into effect here. Of course, that Lost Vacuum, you have to discard your own card into Lost Zone, and then the Stadium Aura Tool card off of the board as well. So Cyrus just going through these cards here, then in the deck. If
you're wondering where that Pidgeot's gone, it's back into the deck thanks to the Vanishing Wings ability. Very cool name for an ability as well.
Yeah.
Switch card being played, healing up the Manaphy a little bit. Ooh, 1-2 combo once again. Hawlucha, flying entry, puts 10 damage counters on 2 Comphys. That sets up a nice 2-prize turn here for Cyrus.
Yeah, the Pidgeot flew away, and the Hawlucha flew in here, making a name for itself in this game. So Cyrus getting a lot done on that turn. 2 prize cards to 2 prize cards down for both of these players. We're over onto Aaron's side of the field now, and I'm really happy that Cyrus is going so quick, because you know, Cyrus needs things to go their way in this match here and just take a nice 2-0 and wrap things up for this game.
Aaron here just going for the boss's orders once again.
Oh, saw this last game too.
Yeah, trying to disrupt in a means of getting it stuck in the active. So Aaron has to think here, right? They can potentially take 2 prizes once again. Take a knockout on the Manaphy and something extra, but then that opens up Radiant Charizard, but this time, Giratina's a Giratina V-Star. So
yes.
I wonder if that's going to matter here. Does take a knockout on the Manaphy. Is it going to set up down? Yeah, takes a knockout on the Chorus as well. Aaron is down to 2. Charizard activated.
Activated, yeah. You still need everything to align here to be able to use it, but let's see what Cyrus is able to do here. I think just too far behind, unfortunately. If Aaron could just get things out and close things up with only 2 prize cards left to take, but I'm excited to see if Cyrus can pull something off here. We see the escape rope start here. Cramorant going to come up into the active position, and Sableye coming up as well for Cyrus.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was thinking about it. Oh, there's no way for Cyrus to take a knockout on 260. But if they had a second Hawlucha potentially ping 10 damage on the Giratina, that brings it to 250. Potentially take 2 prizes this turn. But it's going to be a lost mine here. Takes a knockout on the Sableye, I believe. It just sets up damage on the board. And just like that, Cyrus is down down to 3. Aaron is 2 prizes away, but they don't have a Sableye.
Yeah. Yep, would have to reestablish something on the board. Of course, that Giratina Giratina V-Star now has slowly been getting lined up with energy over time. Really, it hasn't done much else besides that. It's just been kind of sitting there, getting some energy attached to it. So we have that at least, but we'll see what Aaron chooses to do with this turn here. Cramorant is going to get the energy attachment, which means that's going to have a pivot there option. Oh, but Sableye comes down, but can't do both.
Yeah, that is true. That's a very interesting player. I would have loved to see maybe the energy attachment on the Sableye, just lock that down, because then technically that means, oh, I can attack with the Giratina, because the only way I believe Cyrus can win here is they have to attack with the Charizard into the Giratina, take that knockout, and then for Aaron to miss a knockout on the Charizard, because Cramorant only does 110. Even if it's a water-type Pokemon, its attack does not deal ignores weakness.
Yes, it does.
Right?
Yeah.
So that means Aaron has to depend on finding a Sableye after the Giratina, potentially.
Oh, yeah. So this actually could have been worked into kind of a sticky situation here for Aaron, potentially. We do still see that Mirage Gate, though.
There we go.
That's easy peasy. As long as there's energy in the deck to attach here, Mirage Gate's online.
And I think that's checkmate. It should be a checkmate scenario. I'm not sure if I'm not seeing something here, because that's all you need. You have 3 attackers here, right? You have Giratina, Cramorant, and Sableye. Cyrus can only really deal with one of these Pokemon, unless Aaron doesn't have a switch here.
No, I think there's a switch card in hand.
That's the only scary thing.
There's a switch card in hand. We're good. We're good. Yep, it's going to be that switch cart there, thanks to the Mirage Gate attaching that energy from the deck to that Sableye here for Aaron. And there we go, Sableye back online again. Both of these players' decks, you know, they lead to bring out the Sableye here, attach the energy, and go ham with it. And that's exactly what Aaron is going to do here.
Yeah, there we go. Lost Mine. Did they knock out the Sableye at the very least? How is the damage spread out here? Just 2 damage on.
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, oh, are they still adding it up? Yes, of course, 12 damage counters here.
Yeah, so it's 8 on the Sableye.
Yeah, I think they're just doing the math here. Oh, I think it's because Cyrus drew a card before knocking the Pokemon out. I think that's exactly what happened. Cyrus did not promote a Pokemon before drawing. That's 100%. What it is. Yes.
So
unfortunately, just I'm sure totally blanked there.
Sometimes your hands just move faster than your than you think,
like your
right?
thoughts are going faster than the board state's moving. That's
especially
for
of how fast Cyrus has been playing.
Yeah, no, and I mean it's warranted here. Let's see if they were able to just reset things. I think there's some discussion happening now, but that Sableye was knocked out, and the rest of those damage counters spread across the bench as well. But I think Cyrus just drew a card before actually taking the knockout, bringing the Sableye into the discard. So looks like they're just having a quick convo there about that.
I mean, who knows what Cyrus was supposed to promote to the active, right?
No. Who knows? Yeah, I wonder. Maybe the Halucha. No,
I mean, there is some logic in promoting the Halucha first because if you have a switch card, right?
Yeah, the whole issue here is that, you know, if you draw a card before you promote a Pokemon, you technically have knowledge of what you've drawn for that turn and how it can help you. So if you haven't promoted first, yeah, things get sticky. It's order of operations, and if you mess it up, it does unfortunately break the game state. So
100%. I don't think it's going to matter too much in this
scenario.
Think so either, Again, it's looking at Aaron's board, checkmate scenario, right? What can Cyrus do? He has to be able to knock out both Giratina and Sableye, as well as being able to take a hit from a Cramorant. There's no conceivable way in Lost Box, I think, that you can do that. But
5 minutes left on the clock here. Of course, if things continue, I'm sure there will be a time extension for our players. But really, I mean, if things tie up, what are you supposed to do, right? There's no way this game would conclude. I mean, unless something wild happens.
Yeah, there's a chance. If there's a Cramorant, there's a way, right?
That's true. That is true. I've seen wilder things, I suppose.
You start Comfey, nothing else. You go send 4 cards into the Lost Zone, knockout Donk. There we go.
Oh, well, it looks like they're going to be discussing some things here. But Wancho, what do you think so far? This is our first game that we're casting here at Pittsburgh. What do you think of it?
It's only the first game, but my head hurts already. And of course, it had to be the Lost Box, Lost Tina.
I mean, Lost versus Lost.
Yeah, and they're both very spicy lists, right?
Yeah.
This is Lost Box with Radiant Charizard, and then it's Dehydrated Giratina.
Yeah.
So they're both more consistent variants of their respective decks, some would say, but yeah, it's been interesting for sure. I just love watching Cyrus Davis play. Again, just the utmost speed. They're playing faster than I can talk, which is weird for a card game.
That's true. Especially with so much shuffling involved, right? But yeah, no, Cyrus always bringing out the cool text for sure. And we've seen a lot of Radiant Charizard lists, but we never really see a ton of people piloting just a simple Radiant Charizard and all single prize Pokemon and just getting there as quickly as possible and going for it. But that is exactly what Cyrus is doing here with this deck.
You know what it is, Boo?
What?
I think Cyrus here, like, they were looking at the meta, and he was like, oh, everyone's talking about Charizard and Pidgeot. I should play that. And they did.
Oh, yeah, just in a bit of a different way, for sure. That is very true.
But yeah, again, very interesting deck. I would love to see more of it. It feels like it has an answer to everything. Just Drapion for the Mew and everything else. You can just trade nicely.
Well, it's odd because it's a Lost Zone deck, which usually we talk about these Lost Zone decks being so grindy and so like mentally taxing and stuff. But I feel like this deck here is not as much mentally taxing.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you're focused on just Sableye consistently. It's like Cramorant. I mean, there's only one Cramorant, but it's primarily Sableye just over and over and over again, and then just popping out that Radiant Charizard, like we saw in Game 1, where Cyrus just took the win with that once it was slimmed down enough there for the field. But that just allows you to have, I mean, there's 42 trainers in this list. 42 trainers.
If
you can't make something happen with that, then what are you doing
then
here,
almost all are live cards, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's less of a headache because there's less energy to count as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too,
You just go count 2 fire energy, 3 psychic energy. That's it. I don't have to make sure, oh, do I have enough energy in my deck for this Mirage Gate? Do I have to play this Ordinary Rod first? No. You just have to know your 2 fires, 3 psychic, where they are.
Well, and it's funny too because even then, like I would be so, if I played such a slim line of energy, I'd be so scared of Lost Zoning any of them. But we've seen plenty of energy cards go into the Lost Zone from Cyrus as well. So you know Cyrus has a lot of knowledge put in behind this deck. And she's piloting it extremely well.
I mean, there's so many ways to really get those energies right. You have those Claras, Ordinary Rods, put them back into the deck. Even Raihan, potentially. That's another way to get energy accelerated, and then you can even grab another energy if you want. But, yeah, you don't need too many. If you miss your energy, attack with a Cramorant. Why not? 110 damage, still good. Every damage counter matters.
Yes.
But
so we've talked a lot about Lost Giratina, of course, it being the most popular deck in our day 1 meta share. Tons of players playing it. But for Cyrus's Radiant Charizard deck, how do you think this lines up into this giant field in our meta share for our day 1, Wancho?
I think Cyrus has a good matchup into everything that has a Comfey.
Yeah.
Which is good. 500 people have Comfey.
Yeah. There happens to be a lot of Comfey.
Yeah, I mean, the Howlucha is just so big, putting 10 damage counters onto 2 Pokemon as we head back into the game here. And I believe it should be tied up 1-1.
Yeah, I think we are wrapping it up here. Not really sure what the conclusion was there at the end of that game 2 between our players, but most likely it's just the tie. Both these players going to have to take a tie into their next round, which, of course, as we talked about plenty of times here, you don't really want to see ties, but sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles.
There's still a chance, Boo. They're 1-1. We're still going to game 3. We have, what, 5 minutes left?
Yeah, so it does look like they added the time extension here, but I mean, what are the odds, Wancho?
Cramorant, knockout Lone Comfey on one of them. It's possible for either of them, right?
Spit innocently and a dream here.
Yeah, that's it.
That is what we're going to
The minute we see a battle VIP pass, that's when we can sign that match slip and say it's a tie.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We see a little replay action here from our last game.
Yeah, and here I believe it is the multiple prize KO with that Sableye. And being able to take multiple prizes just feels really good. Again, that's what I've been talking about in the Giratina deck. You have so much firepower, but also flexibility.
That is very true. Yeah, I love how the tables kind of turned there. Cyrus just had a couple of awkward turns here, and even though they were able to kind of pick things up in the end, they're still going to bring it to a 1-1 between both of these players. But it was going both ways here for minutes there. But yeah, it looks like we had our judge call here. Look at us just chatting it up, Wancho. It's kind of weird to be talking and watching
us talk.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
It's interesting. No, but I love how both our replays were basically Lost Mine and then another Lost Mine.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, exactly. Sableye versus Sableye.
All right.
So both of these players now 1-1, 5 minutes. I'm just betting that this does not conclude. I think this is going to end in a tie here, but I'm guessing you're betting otherwise, Wancho.
Yeah, if there's a Cramorant, there's a way.
That's true.
Cyrus only has 1 Pokemon in the active right now, I believe, and a Mulligan.
Oh,
so one extra draw.
I don't know, because in both of our games from both of these players, we saw multiple battle VIP pass as well. So I don't know. Things would have to go, I think, terribly wrong for one of our players, which I don't want to jinx things, but we'll see how things turn out. Let's take a look at these prize cards, at least here on Cyrus's side. Of course, still resolving a mulligan. In the Pokemon TCG, you have to start with a basic Pokemon, and you have to reshuffle up and redraw your hands until you do get a basic Pokemon. But unfortunately, you're also giving your opponent more cards that way. Every mulligan is an extra card for your opponent to draw. So these prize cards, though, we have one of the Sableye and one of those Fire Energy and another Chorus. They can't stay out of the prize cards.
At least it's always just one, right?
That's
one
true,
can
yeah.
take a break because eventually you'll draw into it. Second mulligan here from Aaron Hunt. Cyrus is going to have 2 extra cards to work with, and every card matters.
But unfortunately, like, the timer is still ticking down. Even though there's mulligans, it's still going. The timer doesn't pause for the game setup here, so it's ticking down here right now. But we'll see how this seems to play out.
So if Aaron can open up Giratina, that means Aaron's safe. There's no way.
That's true.
No way you take a knockout on Giratina, right? You can't power up the Radiant Charizard because you don't have Mirage Gates.
And I mean, you only have 2 Fire Energy as well. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's colorless, so. Yeah, but there's no way that happens. There's no way.
Was that another mulligan? A third mulligan here.
Yeah, Cyrus, I feel like I just heard her say, like, I don't think there's any way this is happening. But
I wish I had those 3 extra cards the first game or the second game.
Yeah, that's very true. Things get messy here sometimes in the Pokemon TCG. Aaron's still shuffling up here. Cyrus kind of just let things play out. Only 2 minutes and 45 seconds here left on the clock, but we do have to come to a conclusion here in this game. So we're gonna be chilling here until these players get set up.
I mean, Aaron can start Manaphy Pass here. That could be a thing.
True.
I'm worried now.
I feel like you're wishing for it almost, Wancho.
It'd be exciting.
Oh, another Sableye and a Colress for Aaron over here in these prize cards.
Aaron is going to start as off. Only opens a Cramorant. There's a Battle VIP Pass.
Oh, I told you. Too consistent here. Both of our players always have the Battle VIP. And honestly, Aaron gets that initial deck search here. If there's pivot options in the hand as well, could see some flower selectings. And there's, sub 2 minutes now left on the clock. So I think things are going to get wrapped up here. I mean, so both of these players are 4-0 currently in this tournament. So 4-0-1 isn't the end of the world,
100%.
luckily, Wancho. Of course, you want to see a win versus a tie. The wins count for 3 match points. Of course, a tie only counts for 1.
Yeah, I'd still be feeling good, though. Technically, you haven't lost yet, right?
Nope, definitely not.
But yeah, Aaron here gets two more Comfeys into play. That protects them from the only way they can lose. The next question is, does Cyrus have a basic Pokemon with those 3 extra mulligans? Maybe they don't?
Maybe? Are you still hoping for Wancho?
I'm just trying to think of ways where someone can win here. What is there to hope for?
You're like, listen, my job is to identify the lines, okay?
What is the win condition? The win condition here is to be unlucky. There's a Battle VIP Pass. All right,
oh my
it's a tie.
Battle VIP Pass. Cyrus still going to go as fast as possible. Honestly, I'm loving this turbo mode.
Wow.
Loving the turbo mode. I could never play like that. I'd probably drop my deck all over the ground.
Oh, yeah. When I'm shuffling, it just goes all over the place.
Yeah. Look at this, though. Battle VIP Pass bringing out that Pidgeot V as well as a Cramorant for Sealstone, going straight down onto that Pidgeot V as well for Cyrus. We, of course, have the Comfey in the start here, have not flower selecting yet. Off of the Comfey, Cyrus is shuffling very quickly. That takes some skill.
Yeah, this is, I'm in awe. I haven't been talking.
26 seconds left.
I wonder if Cyrus could end their turn within 20 seconds. I'm very curious here. That's first flower selecting. They still have to use the Forest Seal Stone. They have to retreat to the Cramorant. 14 seconds left. I believe that was a Chorus. Yeah, why not play it? It fell off my hand.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Cyrus wants to conclude this turn as fast as possible, because if time is up, there's still an additional 3 turns for the entire game for both these players. So it's really dependent on if Cyrus is turn 0 or Aaron is turn 0. But looks like time's up now.
Yeah, and you can notice the change of demeanor
the change
there.
Of pace, and that's going to be the fist bump as well. Ending this game, it is going to be a tie between both of these players, Aaron Hunt and Cyrus Davis, bringing Lost Zone boxes to the stage here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But it is going to be a tie for these players. But that was an exciting one to watch. I think I kind of got lost in that match of it. I got lost mind in that match.